Thank you very much. First, let me join my colleagues to thank the Global Alliance as well as the organizers of this program for giving us the opportunity to share the experience that the CPRE has had in the last 5 decades. And I think that report uh, only confirms that most of what we experience every day common things that both our students as well as practitioners um, go through. And therefore, these various 7 topics are things that I believe will either confirm or actually show us another perspective of how some of these issues are being handled. Um, the data insights and strategy is key to the extent that data is very important when we want to communicate. And unfortunately, somehow, most of us in practice feel that data is a difficult thing. But the report shows that indeed data can make a lot of difference when when we are communicating with facts and figures. You are better off to convince, to persuade, and to communicate your organizational goals. And so the report came up with some recommendations. The first is that it should integrate knowledge, skills, and abilities related to data analytics. And in the age of artificial intelligence, such that our academic curriculum actually emphasizes data analytics. And in doing this, we should recognize what we do all the time. We talk about research, we talk about qualitative and quantitative analysis using different social science methodologies and models. Now, all of these things have been able to help organizations and indeed our students to understand issues better. The report also went ahead to say that we should, in our teachings, encourage students to use spreadsheets, use Excel, PowerPoint presentation, and most of those other tools that actually makes our job easier. And then the report also, excuse me, says that we should encourage the students to be curious and then, of course, to be problem solvers. We know that as communicators, as public health practitioners in our organizations, we are often looked at as people that can provide solutions to problems. And then the data ethics issue. Now, when you have access to information, when you have access to organizational data, you will be expected to have some modicum of ethics because those privileged information that you have are not supposed to be used anyhow. And so it is important for us as educators, as practitioners, to recognize the sensitivity of data whenever we have them in our custody. So this report emphasizes data ethics. And then, of course, that as much as possible, most employers always ask, how can you prove to me that your public relations is helping my organization? The only way, or one of the ways we can do that, is using data, so that our data will support the aims, the objectives, the vision and mission of our organizations. And finally, one of the recommendations is that the educators should need administrative support that will invest in ongoing retraining and learning so that students as well as practitioners can stay abreast of development, both in public relations as well as other things that are happening around us in our societies. The second topic is ethics. And incidentally, the catch after the ethics, it says essential yet neglected. Some people will say reputation does not matter. And I can tell you that that is a mistake. Reputation matters. And how do you manage issues of ethics, if not taught, if not understood, if not upheld, and if not used as part of our daily lives. And so ethics is very key. And the report came up with some recommendations. It says ethics should be a required course in all public relations programs. This is happening, and I believe that we can only reinforce and continually understand the key role of ethics in public relations. And, and then the public relations educators should continue to incorporate ethics in all the courses across board. Okay, because there's none of those activities that we're engaging that doesn't have ethical perspective, and that we should be conscious of the fact that we always have to throw this up and let our students as well as practitioners understand the core ethics and competencies that are expected of them. That public relations programs should review their curricula with an eye towards the most important ethics topics as identified in this report. You know, it's a 118-page report, which means the report is really extensive and deep. And therefore, we expect that the issue of ethics as discussed in this report can also help in our building up our younger ones and even strengthening entry-level practitioners, as well as those who are experienced, because every day there are a lot of things that are changing in society, and we should be able to react to them appropriately. We have issues of hostile work environment. We have issues of harassment. And so every time society has to grapple with issues, ethical matters come in. And the more we emphasize this in our teaching, in our practical experiences for our students, the better for us. The third aspect that I'm supposed to discuss here is the DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion. Apparently, this is an emotive issue. Anytime you talk about diversity, somebody can then jab back and say, so who exactly are you talking about? Or what exactly are you talking about? So we know that it's a very sensitive topic, but that does not mean that we cannot frontally confront these issues and make sure that it is understood, so that all the uh, challenges that we're having in trying to understand and to actually apply it can be mitigated or basically reduced to a large extent. So DEI is an ethical social responsibility imperative, okay? And I like the way the report critically or specifically states that it is an ethical social responsibility imperative, meaning we do not really have a choice as to whether we like it or we don't like it, because it is the reality of our lives. We needed to understand it, and of course, we need to understand that DEI emphasizes appreciating human differences. We're not the same, but we have to work together. We have to live together. And so, if we appreciate the differences, it is better for us to. It will be better for us to have a better society. The people needed to be treated properly, treated fairly, because people matter more than things. People matter more than money. Okay? And so, if we understand the concept of DEI, the likelihood is that we are going to be able to respect people and give them the respect they deserve, and tell them and let them know that they are also valued. So the report said that we should take a comprehensive approach to DEI to create public relations and DEI course materials, meaning that in our curriculum, we needed to emphasize diversity, equity, and inclusion. And finally, the report also talked about the need to create network to institutionalize the concept, meaning that there should be some kind of provision for people that may have maybe challenges in understanding the concept, maybe challenges in appreciating the need for DEI, or maybe people that may have been one way or the other be affected by not having it. Finally, I'd just like to say thank you to Katrina, thank you to Anka, thank you to Anne, and to say that by the time this report is discussed finally, we will see there are so many common areas of interest, of concern that we experience every day. And that's why we're happy that we are given this opportunity during this conference to share the experience that CPRE has had in the last 5 decades. Thank you very much.